Liz.
And I'm Brandon.
And we live in a wooden truck camper that we call the Beep Beep Birdhouse.
And we've been living in it and climbing out of it for about 6 months now.
This video is sponsored by Optimizers. Go to magnesiumbreakthrough.com/FLORB to get a 20% discount using coupon code FLORB20.
I had actually lived in a vehicle for like about 4 months previous to this. Bought a Honda CR-V, took the seats out and built a platform. And so I worked for a few years, saved up, and Brandon was the one who came up with the idea of, instead of doing like a cargo van type build, actually like building something ourselves. Wanted something with 4-wheel drive as well, and 4-wheel drive cargo vans are so expensive, so this was like a lower cost option to do that.
The truck and the camper, they're two separate items, so if repairs get too expensive, we can buy a new truck, move the camper onto a new truck, and be good to go. My background is in architectural design. Built a whole Rhino model of exactly what we wanted to build, and then we had spreadsheets of all the materials, so we knew like the weight of everything, the cost of everything, and we really completely modeled every single thing we wanted to build before we got started. It was about a full year build process with about 2 months at the start where we are exclusively designing and trying to figure out exactly what we wanted to do. We're guessing for the whole build around $12,000, but we never wanted to add up the receipts and find out the real cost.
We were worried it was going to be more than our estimate.
Yeah.
So our estimate was about $12,000, and that's not including the truck. We bought the truck for $6,000.
So this is the camper built on a 99 F250, a diesel with a 7.3 liter engine. We bought it used off Craigslist for about $6,000. When we bought it, it had 174,000 miles on it. The person we bought it from had upgraded the suspension from the F250 to the F350 suspension. Has a 4-inch lift on it as well. A lot of the climbing has kind of like rough access or logging roads, and so we wanted that 4-wheel drive and the high clearance to make sure we could get to all the climbing destinations. This is the cab of the truck, so this is where we store all our dirty climbing equipment and stuff. It's nice to have this as just the junk storage for outdoor gear, then we don't have to worry about dirtying up the actual home. So the camper itself is a 2x4s, house wrap, and then furring strips, and then this is pine car siding. We have these steel eyelets that are bolted to the frame of the camper. The ratchet straps go down to the frame of the truck itself, each of which are rated to 5,000 pounds, which is stronger than a traditional truck camper tie down. They are fabric, so we do keep an eye on them and replace them every once in a while. We really wanted the camper to have a lot of light and feel really open, so we have the round windows and then also the square ones, and then we also have the skylight on the front of the camper. The windows we built ourselves out of plexiglass instead of actual glass, so it'll bend instead of shatter. And then the round windows are faceted, so each facet is cut at an angle, and then when you glue them all together, they round out into a rounded shape. The roof system's really simple. It's just plywood with several coats of Flex Seal on top of it. Also up on the roof, we have 3 100-watt Renogy solar panels, which are hooked up to a Goal Zero battery, which we have on the inside. This door is actually an item we found in an alley near our old apartment. It had about 4 more layers of loose paint on it. So we peeled a lot of the loose paint off to a level where it wasn't flaking off, and then we coated it with more urethane. We did have to cut the door down along that seam and then reroute it and glue it back together so it would fit into our opening. We also have this small door which is next to the stove on the inside, which does open up, and it's nice to help get extra air near the stove when we're cooking. And that about does it for the outside of the camper, so we can move on inside.
The interior siding that we have is just a 1/4-inch cedar closet liner. For insulation, we use Havelock wool. It's mold resistant and also has a really high insulating factor. That's why we went with that. It's worked really well for us so far. The camper is pretty well insulated from like heat and cold. Over here, we have our cubic mini wood stove. It's the cub version. Within 10 minutes, it gets pretty hot in the camper, and it lasts most of the way through the night, and then we have to re-up the fire like at 2 a.m. But it definitely works for our purposes. Continuing underneath the wood burner, we have storage, just like IKEA crates, rain jackets and other jackets, hats in this one, shoe bins, this is Brandon's and this is mine. We also keep our vacuum there. Right next to the wood burning stove, we have our couch. These cushions are actually the cushions from our apartment. And then below the couch, there's 3 separate compartments. So this one is my clothes, this is Brandon's clothes, and then at the very back is food storage. This can serve as like a guest bed. It's like, if you take the cushions off, it's like plenty big for a person to sleep on, but it doesn't pull out or anything. It's just a couch as it is. The bed sits over the cab. It's pretty much the size of a full-size mattress. We had a mattress topper that we cut down a little bit, but it's plenty big enough for 2 people. We have a bookshelf on this side, and that just holds miscellaneous items as well as all of our guidebooks and our like personal reading books. Above the bed, we also have a skylight. This is like a huge light source for the camper. Directly below the bed, we have a pass-through. We usually use it most of the time to grab things from the cab that we forgot. If there's something sketchy happening outside, it's a nice emergency option. Down in this corner, we wanted kind of something that would serve as a table, and we also wanted extra storage. So the bottom of this has like electronics in it, and then the top crate has like snacks and food. In this corner as well, in the bottom, we have our Nature's Head toilet. We typically stay at campgrounds that have bathrooms, and so this is usually just like for peeing in the middle of the night or if we're like not at the campground. Above the toilet, we have all of our dishes, our silverware, but our kind of camper specific thing is this roll. I think it's intended for art supplies, and that's what we originally used it as, but it works perfectly for silverware. So we just have little slots for each type of silverware. Keeps everything together really nicely. Over here we have our Dometic 95-liter fridge freezer. Quite a big fridge, and so it'll last us like 2 weeks between grocery trips. Fridge, I think normally is like $1,300 or something. We found it for $650 at the REI garage sale. And the battery that we have is a Yeti 1500X. It just has like your standard ports. It's hooked up to the fan. On top of the counter, we have our copper sink. Facebook Marketplace find. It was just someone's bathroom sink and we bought it for 20 bucks or something. We have a 7-gallon freshwater jug and a 6-gallon gray water jug, which we empty pretty regularly because it does get kind of gross. One thing that we also prioritized is that we wanted a lot of counter space. It's the same length as the couch, and it's made of 4 separate panels that we joined together of Paduke wood. Which we went to a woodworking shop to find. The counter is also sealed with butcher block oil, so you just have a 6-foot-long cutting board basically. This is our RV oven. Some guy who had ripped a bunch of appliances out of old RVs is selling them for pretty cheap, so we got the oven for like $75. Both of those are hooked up to 5-pound reusable propane canisters. Most gas stations will like fill it up for you. That just about does it with the camper tour.
We had an apartment, and the day the apartment lease ended, we were moving into the camper. Having that firm deadline got really stressful at the end of trying to make sure everything got done.
At the same time though, I feel like the deadline helped because I think we conceivably could still be working on this camper. There's so much still on our like bucket list that we'd like probably add to the camper. It's never gonna be perfect. You just have to call it done and move in.
Yep.
Start looking for like appliances and materials and whatnot. Like it gives you time to look for deals. I think we had most of our appliances like months before we were ever gonna install them in the camper. And that let us troll around Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and whatnot and find like a cheap RV oven or whatever rather than buying something last minute off the shelf. And there's so many options. Like there's old RVs you can gut and rebuild. You can build your own truck camper. There's so many options. I just think if you're not sure if you're gonna like van life as well, it's like worth maybe living out of your vehicle as it is. Just put a platform in it and live out of it and see if it works. And then you can like dedicate a full year to building something. Don't get too stuck on like the idea of van life being a white cargo van.
Yeah.
What do you think the #1 mineral is that beats stress, fatigue, and helps you sleep better? It's magnesium, but it's not just any magnesium. This is Magnesium Breakthrough, which blends the 7 essential forms of magnesium into one complete supplement that helps you stress less, sleep better, relax more, and generally just experience more peace throughout your day. Now, most magnesium supplements fail because they use synthetics or preservatives, but when you get the 7 essential forms of magnesium, you get a serious upgrade from your body, your brain. Pain and inflammation go down, and so does muscle tension. So with this one simple step, you can reverse the effects of magnesium deficiency in all of their forms. So go to magnesiumbreakthrough.com/FLORB and get a 20% discount when you use offer code FLORB20 at checkout. Now, I'm almost done with this bottle of Magnesium Breakthrough, and I can tell you that the difference in sleep is real. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment and get yourself a 20% discount and start feeling the powerful effects of magnesium today. Thank you for watching and have a great week.